Today's, what is it, Sunday?
Yep.
The 26th of April. It's been about a week since we hived up the bees, so it's week one hive check. If they're good today, I won't come back into them for about 2 weeks. And then after that, every week. But what we're gonna do is just make sure, I should be starting to see some eggs or some larvae right now. We're gonna make sure they're not or sugar bound or syrup bound. And we're going to check to see if they need pollen patties, and if they need pollen, or if they're honey bound, if they need feed, or if there's no queen, I don't see any eggs, or I don't see any larvae, then we'll address that at that time. So I'm going to start over here on Queen Beatrix, work my way down the line over here to the yellow one, which is Queen Mary behind me, and I'll stop, and if I see anything of interest, I'll come over and show you. Other than that, I'll be talking from over there. Okay, so we're gonna do Queen Beatrix. I got my smoker going, so I'm gonna just smoke the entrance. Come around the sides. I caught one trying to bring in some pollen. She's like, leave me alone. I'm trying to do my job. So I know these guys were empty because I pulled the feed off of them a few days ago because they were starting to get syrup bound, and I didn't want that. Just put a little smoke in there to keep them calmed down.
Look at that. Pollen patty.
So they've taken the pollen patty. About like that. They've ate most of it. They don't need another one right now. They've still got plenty. So I'm going to start here and work my way through the hive. I just either until A, I see the queen, B, I see eggs or larvae, and then also at the same time, C, I'm going to be looking to make sure that the queen's still got space to lay. This is the outside frame. Just a little bit of drawn. Also, if I see any kind of weird cross combing or anything weird like that, I'll go ahead and take the opportunity right now to scrape it off. Get them building the way we want them to build. Oh, hello, little lady. There's one in there with the pollen bags full. So, just making sure, nope, let's see if the queen's on here. So, I don't know if you can see this in the sun there, but the cells are a little bit shiny.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
That is,
Hope they see it.
that is sugar, or sugar water nectar.
Yeah.
They're gonna turn that into stores. If you look on this side, this is mostly pollen on this side. And then if you look right here, that's a queen cup that they decided to make, which, not a queen, it's a queen cup, it's not a queen cell yet, so we just went ahead and took that out of there because they don't need it yet. Lots of pollen, lots of syrup, so we're just gonna put that one back all the way to the end though, and get the next one out. Slovenia, I think, is their real origin. So that, it's got a lot of syrup. It's a very heavy frame. A lot of syrup, a lot of nectar. I'm sorry, pollen. So, I don't know if you can see the pollen in there.
Yep.
Little bits of yellow and red. This side also, this is all completely pollen and nectar, or pollen and sugar syrup. Resources. We need the resources. So I'm gonna go ahead and, are you recording? I'm gonna go ahead and pull this pollen patty off, even though I'm not there yet. They are just eating that thing. They love it. That's all that's left. Okay, so we're gonna do the third one, the fourth one, I guess. We got nectar. Oh, I got baby bees.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let me see. Just bring it closer and I will zoom in. Okay.
Okay, can you see this? Right here where my finger's at?
Yes.
Okay, so if you look in there, you see white.
Oh, yeah.
And see the little...
Go face it this way. Where I'm pointed again. Right there, right there.
Right
Yep,
there.
there's two right there.
Yeah,
Wanna bring it closer? No, it's hard to see. Oh, right there. I can see it. Right
Yeah,
there.
so that's baby bees. That's actually as far as we need to go. So we know we have a queen, because she's the only one that'll be laying. Right now anyways, 'cause I know she's in there. I don't need to dig for her and just make them mad. I'm gonna go ahead and give them some stores, meaning I'm gonna give them some more food. A little bit. I'm gonna try giving them about a gallon. Watch out, little ones.
You're not gonna go look for her?
No, you don't need to.
Okay.
Because if there's brood or eggs in there,
Yeah.
or larva,
It means she's there.
she's there. And then you're just gonna make them mad if you just keep on digging apart their hive. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna go in here. So they do have a lot of pollen, but not very much here. You know what I might do? I'm not gonna check them for a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've got that open feed over there,
Yeah.
so that'll be good. I'm just gonna leave, and it's supposed to be good. It's not supposed to be raining or any of that right now. So I'm just gonna put this back on for them. And I know I said I wasn't gonna check them for a couple weeks. I might crack this one open just to see if it needs more pollen. But right now I think it's gonna be okay. With that, hold on, not yet. A little bit of this. It's about a gallon. The inner cover and on.
One hive done.
With her lid. One hive done, and success. Looks good.
Yep. Yeah.
And that disrupts the guard bee pheromone that they're going to be putting out. Okay, that's enough. Just a couple little. That's enough. You don't want to make them think their hive's burning down. Okay.
Okay.
Ready? Are you already recording now?
Yeah.
Okay. It's live. So we'll do the next one. Which one is this one? Charlotte?
Charlotte. Yep.
So she is a buckfast. So I came out here a few days ago, and all the queens have been released. I didn't record it because it was not really a good day. So we know the queens are all released. So they've still got syrup. See, look at the big difference between the last hive and this hive. I'm going to try keeping that covered so we don't get a feeding frenzy of bees. Good. I'm going to crack this open. I heard some crunches. You also notice how much pollen is left on this one compared to the last one. You see the difference?
Yeah.
So they definitely don't need any pollen. I might come back here when we're done and give them another pollen patty.
The first one?
Yeah, Beatrice. But she's got a lot in her hive, so okay, so we're gonna go ahead, and these ones were a bit grumpy when I checked them for the queen. I mean, she was in there, but they were not happy I was in here. Some undrawn comb on the end. I'll swap that out here after they get going. Some dead crunched bees, I'll get rid of them. There's a bee right, oh, she was right there with some pollen on her, some wild pollen. The more they find nature or natural pollen sources, the less they're going to want to use this. They'll come back and hit that when it's rainy and they can't get out. Oh, that's a resource frame, I can tell because it's heavy. So what I do is I turn it to the sun so I can see in it, and that's full of shiny sugar syrup. And then you see on this one here, they cleaned off the old comb that they didn't like, and they're filling up the comb that they do, and they're starting to rebuild the comb, starting to draw it back out. So this is all resources. That's actually, this is all syrup. It's no pollen on this one. Dump that one back in. So that one's got syrup. Oh, they're putting nectar in here too. So this one's got syrup and nectar. Little butt sticking out, she's cleaning that cell. This is pollen. So pollen and syrup, nectar, whatever. Resource frame. And usually the way it works is in the middle you're going to have your babies. Just on the outside of that you're going to start having your resources. And on the outside of that, your empty frames, your newly drawn stuff that they're drawing out. And as the brood nest grows, they'll start moving that pollen and that nectar farther and farther out till it's full. And that's when you start putting honey supers on. They'll just start taking the nectar they're getting naturally and store it above the hive nest, so that way it gives more room down here for them. They're very efficient. This is much lighter. You can see they're drawing that all new, but whiter color. And so all I'm doing is either A, looking for a queen, which is she's going to be a little bigger than the rest. There's a drone. Or I'm looking for babies.
Yeah?
More babies.
Good. Yay, exciting.
So these ones are itty bitty. Oh, there's more babies over here too. So if you look here.
I'll zoom in. Let me see. Okay.
You see the little white circles? It looks like C's, little white C's in the bottom of the cells. That is babies. Again, we don't have to go any further. We know they've got pollen available to them. We know they've got syrup available to them. I know the queen's in here and she's laying. That's it. We don't need to know anything else. Put them back.
Oh, just squeeze one.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. You try to be gentle, but what can you do? What can you do? you think so far? You two go ahead and smoke the entrance for me. This is number 3, and she is Queen Anne. Queen Anne. We'll know by the end of summer. So we're just gonna look here.
Remember.
So she's got a little bit left in there.
Yeah.
But I'm probably gonna we'll probably add a little bit more to her.
Okay. Here, I'll take this out. You want me to spray?
Yeah, you want to smoke that a little bit for me?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me. Okay, go ahead. Right in the crack. Okay.
Do you want to put it up here so
No.
you don't have to let
Nope.
the one?
It's not heavy.
Okay.
Okay, so
See, look at that. I don't want to try to get the paper.
he's like, wee. The cowgirl bee right in the paper.
Let me see if I can zoom in. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, yeah,
She's stuck to it.
Oh, she's stuck to it. There you
There she
go.
goes.
You're free.
So I'm gonna go ahead and just take the pollen off now. It's amazing, huh? They just eat all that. See that? And you can see this is where it's sitting on the wood.
Someone's stuck in there too.
Yeah, it's really got stuck in
Drawn in the
there. Heaven. I'm in heaven. Okay. So, same deal. I'm going to start on the end, work my way till either I see the queen or some brood. We got a little bit of syrup left. We got about half of a pollen patty left. So, I'm not too, they've got a whole thing of open feed pollen back there behind them. Plus they're, hello beauty. Plus they're already bringing in pollen from willows. So again, over here, I've got pollen. Pollen, 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 pollen. Lots of pollen on this one. So we had some pollen frames left over from last year, and I started each colony with a little bit of pollen already in the frames, just to give them a head start. So this one's an old comb, and they're working on it, cleaning it up. They'll draw all this out eventually. They're cleaning it up. It was really bad, and you can see it's all been kind of cleaned. And now this is open. They're going to go ahead and they'll start drawing that out. Oh, it's super light too. So I might swap those two frames around actually. I really haven't done anything to this one. It's kind of dirty. Now, normally I don't care about that. They'll clean it up, but they haven't done anything to it in a week. So this one was a pretty bare frame, and you can see how the wax is so white compared to how dark it was on like this other frame we just pulled out.
Mm-hmm.
That's new wax. So let me see here. They don't like being bumped into. It's like when they're in the colony and they bump into each other, they'll move out of each other's way, and that's all I'm doing with my finger. I'm just kind of bumping into them, and they move for each other. So they move for me. So that one, they're not really doing anything on this one either. there's a bunch on this next one. I bet there's babies. I bet if there's babies, this is where they're gonna be. Nope, this has got to be resources. That's all nectar. That's all nectar. Okay, back in it goes. This is food. So far, no queen, no brood. Pretty light.
Is it the queen? No.
There's a drone right there.
Okay.
There's pollen. Oh, there's the queen right here. See her?
Oh, the blue. Yeah, that's what I said. I saw something.
So there's a queen. I don't need to worry about the rest of it. So in that goes. Just top them off a little bit. Queen in.
There's another one.
Is done. Now we're going to hit the next one, Queen Victoria.